AQUA is an extremely portable game. Everything fits in this box here that is just the standard box, standard size for a deck of cards. And we have indeed a deck of cards, 2 player aids, some tokens, and a sheet with the rules, and a sheet with a scoring example. The theme is somehow weird. We have 2 fairly petty exhibitors, curators, and they are curate an exhibit of paintings about sea life. I guess that's what you get when you really want to make a game around art that has to do with sea life and sea landscapes. The art is amazing. It's really nice. Is very impressionist, and they even acknowledge that. So that's definitely an element of the game. So, but we also have on these cards, other than the art, we also have these icons and numbers. So, and the game is for 2 players only. We're gonna shuffle the deck. We're gonna give each player a hand of 3 cards. We're gonna place a card there in the middle of the table to start the game. Also, we're gonna give one of these player aids to each player, and that will help to remember which of them is the column player and which of them is the row player. Remember, they have irreconcilable different aesthetic visions. One player wants sets and patterns that are vertically oriented, and the other player prefers a horizontal arrangement. So basically, you will create sets, but this player is trying to go with rows, and this one with columns. Gameplay is pretty simple. You have your hand of 3 cards, and during your turn you will place one, and then you will draw one from the deck, and the game will be over once all cards have been added to the general tableau. You take a card and you place it next to a card that is already there, or orthogonally adjacent. At the beginning of the game there's only 1 card. I still have 4 positions. Now here's the twist. If I'm placing a card adjacent to a face-up card, I place it face down. So that would be my turn, and then I draw another card. If I play a card adjacent to a face-down card, I place it face-up, and that would be my turn like that. And then maybe somebody, not necessarily me, plays that card, and then somebody plays that card. Now, when a face-down card is completely surrounded by other cards, that is when you reveal it and you place it face-up. And so at the end of the game, there may still be some face-down cards, and in which case you will flip them face up at the end of the game. I'm just putting down some cards kind of randomly there. Now, some cards represent boat, and the boats clearly they attract a lot of people, and because when somebody places a face-up boat card, or you place 2 of these visitor tokens on it, then the player first will move one of the visitors up to 3 spaces, and the other player will do the same with the other token. Are they walking on the paintings, the angles, the perspectives? The theme is sometimes a bit strange. But what are you gonna do when you have such beautiful art? You gotta do something with it, right? So, boom. You will have all the cards face up in a tableau at the end of the game. There you go. Now it's time to score. Scoring can be a bit complex. It has a bunch of steps, and of course that is what will drive gameplay itself, because players will play cards and move tokens and do things precisely in order to score according to these calculations. Set collection. Players will collect points for sets of cards that have matching symbols or numbers. And the symbols are the sea, the lily pads, the boats, and the numbers themselves. However, again, one player will will score rows, and the other player will look at the same card, the same tableau exactly, but looking at the columns. However, here's another plot twist. You don't want your row or column to go bust, because you're going to score only columns or rows that have a total value between 10 and 20. So, for example, here's the column player. This column here has like 10, 15, they get to score this one. This one has 10, 17, 23. This column doesn't score the sets. And that's a very interesting little thing, because of course you think, I want to have a massive column, a massive row with a lot of symbols. And you gotta mix it up a little bit. You gotta either really specialize, so you put a lot of same symbol, but not a lot of other cards in the column or row, because otherwise you go bust numerically and then you don't get to collect the points on the set. For each set in the columns that qualify, we said that this one does qualify. For example, this one has two water symbols, so then two other symbols will give me 2 points for that. I don't see any other sets of symbols here because I have a single lily pad and a single turtle. Scoring the columns, then once we're done with the sets, let me see the numbers. No, the numbers don't score either. Then we're looking at the sea turtles. You see each sea turtle that has a water on top or above, because I'm the column player, will give me 2 points. If it has water on both sides, it'll give me 5 points. So here, for example, this one gives me 2 points because it has water. No, it doesn't have the water symbol. My bad. No, I don't see any. That was not great. Shh. No one's cheating. Shh. Oh! So that one would score me 2 points because I got water on top of the sea turtle. And for the other player, of course, is water on the sides of the sea turtle. Lily pad bonus, the column player will score points for each column that has at least a lily pad in it, and the other player will score points for each row that is consecutive that has lily pads in it, as you can see there. And that's so we want to spread those out a little bit, but also not too much. So there are a lot of interesting little angles here. Those travelers, those visitors that we mentioned earlier, will give you extra points when you're scoring for sets. That's it. Simply when you're scoring a card with a set, it has a token on it, then it gives you extra points. You total all the points from all of these sources, and at the end, the player with the highest score wins the game. You may have noticed that talking about the scoring probably took as much time as it took me to explain how the game works, because the game is, you gotta handle 3 cards. Play one, up or down, possibly reveal some cards on the table, and draw another card. Boom. Extremely simple, but it has all of those, of course, angles that you're trying to cover because you want to score those points. So with such simple set of rules and not a lot of options, the first maybe card or two, there's a card there, I gotta put it adjacent, and then I put another card adjacent. But then the tableau develops, and those few options really open up a nice space of decision. I would say, if anything, the paradox may be that the game may become a little too thinky. There can be a little bit of AP, which for a 2-player light filler that can play in 10 minutes or so, it's unusual. Is there such a category as the heavy light filler? If there is, this game is one of those. Okay, how about the thinky light filler? Because there is a lot going on that you're thinking about. My opponent has placed that card there, and then I place this card here, and now my opponent places a card there, and I'm the column player. Now I'm starting to worry. Is this column gonna go bust? What kind of card is there? Let me place a card here. Oh yeah, we're already at 17. We don't want the column to go bust, and maybe my opponent will do precisely that, will make it go bust. Or not, because they have interest somewhere else. So there's a little bit of bluffing element, and you're trying to read what the opponents may be doing. One of the most powerful things that they can do when they're not setting up sets that are good for themselves is to mess you up and try to make your scoring direction going bust. I like the elegance and simplicity of scoring the same tableau from different directions. It reminded me of Seikatsu, which also happens to be one of my favorite light games. Longer than this one and for more players, but kind of the same idea. In that game, you're looking at the same garden from different directions. And so I'm trying to do all of those things, all of those. Get the sets, get the columns of lily pads, get the darn water next to the turtles, which is incidentally something super powerful. First time I played, I absolutely underestimated how many points you were going to score by placing 2 waters next to a turtle. Which then taught me how important it is when somebody places a turtle. If I am the column player, then I may want to put something there as fast as I can because I want to block you from getting that, and I want to probably place this one as soon as I can, but maybe my opponent will do that. So the turtles, once you realize that there are a lot of points coming from those, they become kind of like an interesting center of gravity there. The art is very pleasant. The art is possibly the reason why this game exists. To me, that's in my mind is like they had this art and were like, okay, can we make a game out of this? And they did, and it turns out to be a fun game. Although again, there's like strange, specific in-between things. Because it's a filler, but I think it's a filler that is best appreciated by people who play games regularly, who are hobby players, and maybe appreciate, again, a little bit of a tight cerebral puzzle. You don't have a lot of cards, that means a mistake can be pretty costly, which means people really will want to think carefully about their moves. There's a lot to consider. So again, that's it. That's what you got. AQUA, a very thinky light filler.